Hi guys, welcome back if you're viewing for the second time. This is my second coronavirus themed live stream with just some general advice and coping strategies. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jo Southall. I'm an independent occupational therapist. I somewhat specialise in supporting people with long-term conditions to manage their symptoms to the best of their abilities. A lot of that comes in handy when you've got people who are socially isolated for the first time in their lives, and people who are coping with ill health for perhaps the first time in their lives. So a lot of the advice is kind of transferable. So this live stream is all about coping strategies for frontline workers, frontline staff, key workers, anyone who actually can't isolate and is out there doing their jobs the same way they normally do, but with a whole lot more stress. So I will be putting this on YouTube afterwards to make sure that captions are working. Because the Facebook auto captioning thing is not the best. So hopefully it will be semi-accessible to everyone. This live stream is aimed at healthcare workers, emergency services, police, people in the care sector, anyone working in a supermarket, anyone doing, delivery and supply chain stuff, cleaners, volunteers, teachers, engineers, anyone who's still out there getting stuck in and helping the rest of us to stay safe. To all of you, and I don't know if this has been said or enough, but your health needs to be your priority. You are doing absolutely all that you can to help the rest of us, but even if you can't do it for yourself, do it for us. We need you to be healthy and mentally well and physically well. So if you're a healthcare worker out there and you haven't found time to sit down and have a drink in hours, do it for me, because I need you guys not to be dehydrated and unwell. Do it for the rest of us, even if you cannot justify doing it for yourselves. This, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, is a marathon, not a sprint. And it may feel like you're sprinting to keep up with everything at the moment, but everything that you put in place, everything that you're doing needs to be sustainable. It needs to be able to keep going for weeks or months. And to do that, you guys need to take care of yourselves. So hopefully this advice will help a little bit and doesn't come across as too patronising or boring or ridiculous. The first bit to talk about is that coronavirus is not the only way you can be unwell at the moment. Anxiety, stress, poor nutrition, sleep deprivation, fatigue, all of these things can be as damaging. All of these things will have an impact on your work. All of these things will have an impact on your life in general. It's really important to prioritise things like eating and drinking, having a stretching break, getting rid of backache. There is a lot of research out there that documents the impact that these things have on people's ability to do their jobs in order to be productive. When you look at what we do for people in acute care situations, they're put on fluid charts, their diet's monitored, they're encouraged to exercise. If we're not doing that for ourselves, we will be of no use to anyone else. Burnout is a real risk here, and particularly for people who are working in incredibly high stress environments, it is so important to spend a little bit of time looking after yourself, if nothing else, so that you can keep looking after us. I realise that sounds really selfish, but in my experience, healthcare professionals have a serious issue with looking after themselves for themselves. It's much easier if it's set as homework so that they can look after other people. So it's weird psychology kind of perspective, but yeah. So pacing, practical pacing tips. Pacing is a passion for mine. Often people feel like they cannot pace because they don't have time. Pacing, when done properly, is more efficient, not less efficient. You are making more efficient use of your time, you are less rushed, you make less mistakes, the quality of your work will be better. You are better off doing something once and doing it right than rushing it and having to redo it. So, micro breaks. All we're talking about with micro breaks are 5 to 30 seconds of not doing the thing you're currently doing. A micro break can be as simple as every time you finish one lot of notes, before you start the next one, have a stretch and a fidget and take a sip of drink. Micro breaks are super useful opportunities to do the self-care tasks you've been putting off for ages. So if I give you an example of a headache, if you've got a little bit of a headache, often 5 minutes of fresh air and a cup of tea is enough to knock the edge off that and you're good to go back to work. If you ignore a headache for 4 hours, you're going to end up needing painkillers, you're going to end up needing a darkened room, it will impact your work, your mood, and everything else. So preemptively and quickly reacting to self-care tasks to acute situations prevents them from being chronic situations. It is kind of the smarter way to do things. So, activity alternating is another one. This may not be an option for people in some environments, but for others it will be quite useful. Alternating activities simply means rather than having to do an activity and then take a break, you're looking at doing an activity and then switching to an activity with different demands on your body and mind. So, I tend to split my activities, and this is what I teach to chronically fatigued folks, but it also works for other busy jobs. Split the activities you need to do into cognitive, physical, and relaxation. Cognitive tasks are anything where it's really, really high concentration. Your brain is doing all of the work and your body is basically taking a back seat. For me, pretty much all clinical work, because I'm hands-off in a digital kind of way, counts as cognitive, but physically isn't as challenging. Physical stuff for me might be something like gardening, it might be walking the dog. Obviously, for healthcare workers, there'll be a lot of running around, a lot of standing. For teachers, obviously, corralling kids is quite a physical thing. PE is a physical thing, whereas teaching something very technical and numbers-based maybe is cognitive but not physical. If you're working in other environments, you can probably see a bit of a divide between your tasks here as well. A relaxation activity is then something that actually gives you time to unwind and claw back a little bit of yourself, a little bit of peace of mind, a little bit of happiness. Arts and crafts are a good one. Audio books, spending 5 minutes laughing at inappropriate memes on Facebook, video chatting with a friend, anything that gives you a sense of well-being and happiness without wearing you out in a different way. It may not be possible for you to do a task and then lay down for 5 minutes, but it may be possible for you to do a task and then swap to a different task, or half of one and then half of another. Alternating around this way means that you're not overexerting any one part of you particularly, and it gives you a chance to recover a bit of yourself while still actually doing something. So it can massively increase your productivity without actually increasing the impact it has on your body and mind. Yes, I've already gone over self-care breaks and micro breaks, but if you are having a break, try to make sure it's a useful one. Don't just stop working for the sake of not working. Get fresh air, have a nap, have a drink. If you are struggling to cram meal breaks in, we'll go over some of that in a little bit. But a little bit of fresh air or video chat with a friend, anything that makes you laugh or smile, these are useful things to do rather than just laying there zoning out. Okie dokie, sleep hygiene. So sleep hygiene is all about practices and behaviours to help you maximise how effective your sleep is. At times like this, if you are working irregular shifts or if you're working in a different location to what you normally do, you may have lost a big chunk of your normal routine, and claiming some of that back is really effective in terms of sleep. No clock watching. If it's bedtime, it's bedtime. There is no need for you to know how long it's taken you to fall asleep the first time. If you wake up and your alarm hasn't gone off, don't be tempted to check the time, just go back to sleep. There is absolutely nothing worse in terms of not being able to sleep than laying there, working out exactly how much not sleep you've got left before your alarm goes off. It's a surefire way to increase anxiety and stress. It's not productive, and it will probably make you feel rubbish when you work out that actually you've only got 20 minutes left before your alarm goes off anyway. Try to just turn the clocks around. Don't look at your phone. Don't do anything like that. Light exposure is really important. So there's a whole lot of technical theory about how circadian rhythms are controlled by light, and I'm going to simplify it right back down for the sake of ease here. Basically, the kind of blue light end of the spectrum, daylight end, helps to wake you up. Darkness helps you to go to sleep. Smartphones give off light, Kindles give off light, tablets give off light. All the kinds of modern tech stuff that is backlit glows at you, and it tells your brain that it's daytime. If you can get away from all of that during the time you're supposed to be sleeping, it may have an impact on your circadian rhythms. So, if you have to use a phone or if you have to use a laptop during nighttime hours, get a blue light blocker app or turn on the night mode filter. A lot of devices now have them built in already, and it does have a big impact. If you're looking at regulating your light exposure, if you're trying to sleep during the day, it may be worth wearing an eye mask and just blocking out all that daylight. If you are working shifts and you're having downtime off of your shifts, try to maintain the same sleep and wake cycle, so you're not having to adjust your sleep-wake cycle repeatedly throughout the week. So if you normally get up at 7 a.m, on your days off, try to get up at 7 a.m. Nap time. So there are two kinds of naps in my way of thinking. There's a nap because you're a bit tired, and then there's the kind of nap that people are more likely to need at the moment, where they are actually actively sleep deprived. If you are having a nap because you are tired and you need to refocus, 20 minutes is generally the recommended amount of sleep you need in a nap. Anything longer than that counts as sleep rather than nap time. However, if you have recently been ill, or if you have a chronic condition that causes body damage in some way, or if you are not getting anywhere near the amount of sleep you normally have and you are actively sleep deprived, a 90-minute nap might be more effective. 90 minutes is roughly the time it takes you to get through the entire sleep-wake cycle, so you're getting a good balance of REM and non-REM sleep, deep sleep, light sleep, all of the kinds of sleep. This is the best way to make sure that your body and your mind both get the kind of sleep that they need in order to actively recover. Once you've done the 90-minute nap, it will probably feel more refreshed and more natural when your alarm goes off and you wake up. Often if you're having 20-minute naps and you're not getting enough kind of recovery mode out of that, you can wake up feeling just as unrefreshed as you did when you went to sleep. So generally 20 minutes is fine, but a lot of the chronic illness folks, thank you very much to my colleague Kim Claydon for this advice as well, the 90-minute nap thing is making a big difference in terms of actually feeling like you've slept. So if you are in a kind of situation where you're working perhaps in an acute, active, fast-changing environment, cram sleep in where you can. Okay, meal times. A lot of people at the moment, your shift patterns are changing hour to hour. You don't know where you're going to be working, particularly for healthcare workers in acute settings at the moment. It's chaos, I think. If you are struggling to find time to sit down and have a proper meal, use your snack time effectively. So if you are keeping your fluid intake up but you're not finding time for meals, maybe try having smoothies, particularly if you're mixing in sort of protein powders or if you're mixing in veggies to try and get the different kind of balanced nutrition. It's a good way of being able to effectively have a meal but without actually having to sit down and eat. Soups are another one as well that you can kind of have on the go if you absolutely have to, but you are getting a better range of nutrition than just living off coffee and hope. Well, coffee, hope and adrenaline at this point. So yeah, hopefully that's a useful way to think about things. If you are having time off, consider batch cooking so that when you are eating on the go, it's not just microwave meals, it is actually the kind of quality meal that you should be eating, just prepared earlier and then frozen. If you are in a kind of situation where it feels a bit chaotic at the moment, take a little bit of time just to breathe and properly evaluate the situation. I believe the phrase we're looking for is more haste, less speed. Is that right? Yeah. More haste, less speed. So actually look quite clinically at the situation you find yourself in. It may be that you are not using resources as effectively as you could be because everything in the past couple of weeks has been done in panic mode. People in panic mode do not think clinically and clearly. They think with their emergency brain, the panic brain, where you just deal with stuff as quickly as possible. When you make time to actually evaluate what you're doing, it may be that there are better uses for your resources. It may be that there are staff members who aren't being utilised in the most useful way. Take some time to kind of reevaluate that and actually make sure you're doing things effectively and efficiently. You will thank me for it afterwards, even if you feel like you're wasting time now. Yeah, delegate, basically. So effectively doing that is sensible. The next little bit is to talk to someone, anyone. Get this stress off your chest before you try and sleep. Even if you just phone up a colleague and you rant at each other because you already know how awful it is in your work environment, do it. If you've got nobody to talk to and you don't want to talk to another person, write yourself an angry letter and then shred it. Take a couple of deep breaths and try to let all of that go. It is difficult, it's exhausting. I run a Facebook group called The Black Box. I will put a link for it underneath this Feel free to go in there and rant to your heart's content. It's a safe space where you can properly let off steam. Video chat is a really useful one, sending voice notes so you're hearing people's voices, not just reading text on a screen. Sending videos, sending selfies, sharing memes, do something that makes you feel connected to the rest of the world so that it gives all of what you're doing meaning. You are helping real people, not just numbers, and you are making a difference. Okay. The final one is to ask for help. There may not be somebody around who can actually do bit of a job for you if you're a skilled worker. Obviously, you can't just ask your neighbour to take off work, whatever they're doing, and do your job instead. But your neighbour may be able to pick up shopping for you so that when you get home from work, you can just crash out and recover. It may be that your neighbour can actually filter the news down to tell you what you need to know rather than you having to watch the press briefing. It may be that people can do online shops for you. It may be that you can just delegate out tasks to different family members within your household. Again, this is about efficiency and looking after each other. So it may be that your normal routines don't actually work so well now, so reevaluate them. Ask for help. There are volunteer groups out there. Even if all the other person does for you is be a sounding board so that you can problem solve, that might actually be really, really useful. Finally, moisturising. So many people I've spoken to recently really struggling with dry chapped hands. Deep moisturisers and barrier creams are your absolute best friend when hand hygiene has been stepped up to the level that it has now. It may seem kind of frivolous, but it really isn't. If you're looking after your skin, then you're protecting yourself from further complications. So make time for that one. Finally, find a way to laugh. It doesn't have to be anything particularly meaningful, just literally anything that gives you a chance to giggle and laugh. There are health benefits associated with laughter, and that's something that we really should be making use of now. So it may be your favourite TV programme, it might be inappropriate internet memes, it might be something completely ridiculous, but find a way to make yourself feel joy, even if it's just for a few minutes. My final thing is just to say thank you. You are seen and you are appreciated, particularly by people like me who are pretty much useless in any kind of physical situation. I can give advice, I can continue doing appointments, but I am essentially within my own home and will be here for the foreseeable future. So from all of us to all of you guys that are out there keeping the country working, thank you very much, and we do appreciate you, and if we can help, shout, ask for help, and we'll do what we can. I hope this has been useful. If you have questions, please feel free to stick them in the comments and I'll answer them. Feel free to share this with whoever you want to share it with, and keep an eye out for the YouTube version, which will hopefully be accurately captioned as soon as I can sort that one out. If you've got other topics you'd like to hear me talk about or you think I can advise on, please just let me know and I'll see what I can do. The next one I'm aiming to do will hopefully be around ways to stay entertained indoors, particularly if you've got kids you're working with at home and you've not kind of done that before. So hopefully these will continue to be useful. But take care guys, stay safe.